What's going on, guys? It is me, Tyson the Trainer, back in the video. Now, it has been a while with you guys watching this. Obviously, you wouldn't think it's been a while, but as you can see, the beard growth over time, it's been a while since I've actually recorded a video, just because I've been away, and also pre-recording things. And so now it's just trying to get back to you to actually talking on camera. Now, one thing I want to share with you guys is, just talking today about getting back on track, because even as an athlete, even as someone who, you see yourself as quite disciplined, always pushing yourself, always wanting to move the needle, it's still quite hard when it comes to, having these expectations for yourself and then not always living up to them. For whatever reason it is, sometimes you get a mental rut, sometimes life gets busy, all those things happen, and you end up falling off track yourself, and then you get quite disappointed, And it can be this kind of self-perpetuating cycle where at the end of the day, you have one bad day where it's like, oh, I fucking overate or whatever it was. And then it kind of just pushes you in the one direction where you keep going down a spiral at the end of the day. And again, I think, some people are able to pull themselves out of it quite quickly. Some people aren't, and it does really take a mental toll on them, and they wonder why they can't. And we're not robots, right? And that's probably the biggest thing you need to also consider for yourself is you are a human. You are going to make mistakes, and it's totally normal for you to make mistakes. We never expect perfection from our family, our friends, our partner, anyone, and we should never expect perfection from ourselves. Yet, because you listen to this, you probably may class yourself as an athlete, you may hold yourself to a higher expectation. A higher expectation than you would with others. And I know I do that for myself. And so when we do not perform at the level that we expect ourselves to be able to perform at and tick the boxes and be consistent and do all those things, we can kind of feel bad about ourselves. And again, this is totally normal, and we can beat ourselves up and, get in a shitty mindset. And sometimes it can be hard to get yourself out of it. So the biggest thing I want to share with you guys today is, it has happened to me recently, coming back when I was over in Thailand. I went there for a visit. For those of you obviously watching, you can see my arm is strapped up, my hand is strapped up, my fucking elbow is strapped up, my knees are strapped up because I stacked a scooter. And I basically had a fucking pity party for myself at the end of the day. And ate a lot of shit, fell off track, gained a lot of weight, and it was just in a bad mindset. And it's just because I couldn't train. I was in a lot of pain. That also rhymed. And it was just like, I was in a bad headspace for myself. And so being able to get myself out of this, the most important thing that I started off with is just making one day a good day, all right? Because all we need to do is stop the bad momentum. Because there's good momentum and there's bad momentum, It's like inertia. Once it gets started, it's hard to stop. But the same thing is once you get something started, it is hard to stop, which is also good. And so with that being said, focusing on just one day where you get yourself back into the swing of things. That means you try and eliminate any type of temptations that will throw you off track. Now, this isn't something we're going to do as a long-term strategy, because we never want to restrict foods we enjoy, or we never want to completely cut everything out of our life. But just to be able to get yourself back on track, one day where you just like, all right, today's the day I'm going to eat my meals, I'm going to get my steps in, I'm going to get my training, I'm going to do what I need to do, and I'm just going to use today as like the catalyst to move me back towards the other direction. Because once you're able to stop the bad inertia or the bad momentum, that negative swing of things that's got you sucked in, it then makes life easier for you to start moving towards the good side of things. But as always, starting something new or getting back on track with things does take time to happen, and it will take a little bit of energy and mental effort at the start before it becomes a habit or routine again. But just like those bad habits and routines that we build up, we can also build up good habits and routines. And so when you win that first day, you're going to get that hit of dopamine. You're going to feel good. You're going to feel confident. You're going to be feeling like, all right, the old me's back. It's always like that old me, the old Tyson, the one who used to push, the one who was on the point every day, fucking showing back up. And it's like that one little day really can send you on that right direction, on the right path, the trajectory to moving back towards where you want to be. And I find that's such a cool thing, because it's so simple, yet it can be quite hard to do on that one day. But it's also like, it's removing that black and white mentality. It's very easy for us to have a mentality where it's like, I'll start again Monday, or fuck it, it is what it is. I've already overeaten by this amount. I might as well overeat by X amount. And every step we take further away from our goal, or moving us away from positive momentum, does make it harder. And so whenever you can try and get yourself back on track, the faster the possible, the better, right? And so with this one day having a win, you're going to be like, all right, I've had a win, I feel good, I want to build on this and I want to keep going, and you're going to try and do the same thing tomorrow. But like I said, that first, the first part of it is going to be a lot of willpower and a lot of momentum. And that's why we want to try and remove any type of variables that may throw us off track. Now, this can be quite hard too, because again, you don't want to isolate yourself. You don't want to restrict everything that actually brings enjoyment into your life. And so it's trying to find that balance, but trying to move all the chips in your favor at the very start is one of the most important things you can do, because when you move those chips in your favor and you do remove any type of variables that may throw you off track, it just gives you a higher chance of succeeding overall. And then as you have positive momentum, you're going to want to be able to stay on that positive momentum train. And so then you can do certain things that may not be 100% in line with your goals. Let's say you're dining, for example, going out to eat with friends or whatever it's going to be, and it's not going to be as detrimental to you because you've already got that positive momentum moving you in the right direction, and you know it's just one meal or whatever it's going to be. But then it's like, all right, we need to avoid you slipping back into your bad habits, okay? So it's like, if you've gone out and you've enjoyed yourself, how do we make sure we don't let that one meal or whatever it was off track throw you back the other way? And this is where it comes to changing that black and white perspective again, where it's like, all right, one meal out of my day hasn't thrown me off, it hasn't ruined anything. I may have gone slightly over, but tomorrow I get straight back on track. Or if it's a lunch meal, you get straight back on track by dinner, because we're trying to change that thinking where it's like a defeatist thinking, or that black and white mentality. Like I said, it's very easy for us to change that narrative in our head and be like, I've already fucked up. There's a word for it. Like, I've already committed to something, I might as well see it through. Okay? I think it's called commitment consistency bias, actually. It's like when you go to the movies and you're watching a movie and it's a shit movie. You could leave at any time, but you think, I've already paid for the movie, I've already been here an hour and a half, I might as well finish off the movie. And it's like, there is no benefit to you staying and watching the movie at all. If anything, it's actually wasting your time, right? But you stay anyways because you committed to it, because you bought the ticket. And the same thing, it's like when you've already eaten bad, you're like, fuck it, I might as well just keep going. I might as well just wait until Monday. And so this is where we need to change that black and white thinking and think, I've eaten a meal off track, whatever it's going to be. I'm not going to let this ruin my positive momentum. I'm going to get back on track with this next meal. I'm still going to train this afternoon. I'm still going to make sure I get to bed on time. I'm still going to make sure the meal I wake up in the morning is going to fit me and suit me, or whatever it's going to be, because that is the most important thing, all right? Not letting one bad decision lead to two bad decisions. But on the opposite thing, making one good decision lead to a second good decision. So you want to line up as many good decisions as you can in a row, and you're using that positive momentum. And then we want to try and avoid all those things that could lead to negative momentum. And when we get on this, when we become more aware about the decisions we make, our thought processes we have, and kind of where we are in this certain state of time in life and where we feel, we're then able to also, make changes and adjustments based on that. And that goes back to what I was saying to you guys before. Making changes and adjustments and moving things in your direction that's going to support your goals. But in saying that, again, you're a human. There are going to be things that do throw you off track some certain period of time. But anytime we can move the needle back towards a positive momentum, we can make sure we have those things in line with us, and we have that first domino that's going to swing from the second domino and then onwards. That's what's going to push us in the right direction, okay? So again, it is totally normal that you've fallen off track. And all you need to think about now is, what can you do? What is one thing you can do today or tomorrow, whatever it's going to be, to push you back in that momentum? And how can you make sure you have all the chips lined up in that day that's going to support you? Because if you just get one good win under your belt, you're going to feel better. You're going to feel like, all right, the old me is back. I'm going to keep pushing. And then you use that momentum at the very start. Again, it's going to take a lot of more willpower, mental capacity to be able to push yourself in the right direction. But that's what's going to move you overall in the most, in the best path. And so it's also just taking account that, again, it's okay. You accept what's happened in the past, wherever you are right now, like whatever's caused you to overeat, throw off track, but that doesn't define who you are. And so all you need to think about is, how do you get yourself back on track, and how do you avoid letting one bad decision turn into two bad decisions? And that may having a certain rule for yourself. If I make one bad decision, the next day I'm going to make sure that I line up everything that's going to be in line with my goals again, so I have no temptation to keep going down the bad route. Because it's very easy for us to get in a negative, pessimistic mindset and think about, fuck it, like I said, but then it throws you down this loop of just down, 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 until you try and pull yourself back out. And the further down the rabbit hole you go of negative inertia, the harder it is to pull yourself back out. All right, so I hope that makes sense for you guys. Find some things you can find alignment with yourself, get yourself back on track, really create some good habits, and just think about winning one day, and that's going to move you back in the right direction.